The Bible Study Podcast, episode 681. Today, the Bible Study Podcast continues the study of Genesis with chapter 36. Welcome to the Bible Study Podcast. Chapter 36 is not going to be one of my favorites. It is Esau's Descendants, but if I get through this quickly enough, maybe we'll start chapter 37. Esau's Descendants. This is the account of the family line of Esau, that is, Edom. Esau took his wives from the women of Canaan, Adah, daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Aholibamah, daughter of Anah, and granddaughter of Zibeon the Hivite, also Basemath, daughter of Ishmael and sister of Nebaioth. Adah bore Eliphaz to Esau, Basemath bore Reuel, and Oholibamah bore Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These were the sons of Esau who were born to him in Canaan. Esau took his wives and sons and daughters and all the members of his household, as well as his livestock and all his other animals and all the goods he had acquired in Canaan, and moved to a land some distance from his brother Jacob. Their possessions were too great for them to remain together. The land where they were staying could not support them both because of their livestock. So Esau, that is Edom, settled in the hill country of Seir. This is the account of the family line of Esau, the father of the Edomites in the hill country of Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Esau's wife Adah, and Reuel, the son of Esau's wife Basemath. The sons of Eliphaz: Teman, Omer, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. Esau's son Eliphaz also had a concubine named Timnah, who bore him Alamech. These were the grandsons of Esau's wife Adah. The sons of Reuel: Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These were the grandsons of Esau's wife Basemath. The sons of Esau's wife Oholibamah, the daughter of Anah and the granddaughter of Zibeon, whom she bore to Esau: Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These were the chiefs among Esau's descendants. The sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn of Esau: chiefs Teman, Omer, Zepho, Kenaz, Korah, Gatam, and Amalek. These were the chiefs descendant from Eliphaz in Edom. They were the grandsons of Adah. The sons of Esau's son Reuel: chiefs Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These were the chiefs descendant from Reuel in Edom. They were the grandsons of Esau's wife Basemath. The sons of Esau's wife Oholibamah: chiefs Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These were the chiefs descendant from Esau's wife Oholibamah, daughter of Anah. These were the sons of Esau, that is Edom, and these were their chiefs. These were the sons of Seir the Horite, who was living in the region: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. These sons of Seir in Edom were Horite chiefs. The sons of Lotan: Hori and Homam. Timnah was Lotan's sister. The sons of Shobal: Alva, Manahath, Ebal, Shepho, and Anam. The sons of Zibeon: Ahai and Anah. This is the Anah who discovered the hot springs in the desert while he was grazing the donkeys of his father Zibeon. The children of Anah: Dishon and Oholibamah, daughter of Anah. The sons of Dishon: Hemdan, Eshban, Ithran, and Kiran. The daughters of Ezer: Bilhan, Zavan, Akan. The daughters of Dishon: Uz and Aran. These were the Horite chiefs: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. These were the Horite chiefs according to their divisions in the land of Seir, the rulers of Edom. These were the kings who reigned in Edom before any Israelite king reigned. Bela, son of Beor, became king of Edom. His city was named Dinhabah. When Bela died, Jobab, son of Zerah from Bozrah, succeeded him as king. When Jobab died, Husham from the land of the Temanites succeeded him as king. When Husham died, Hadab, son of Bedad, who defeated Midian in the country of Moab, succeeded him as king. His city was named Avath. When Hadad died, Samlah from Masrekah succeeded him as king. When Samlah died, Shaul from Rehoboth on the river succeeded him as king. When Shaul died, Baal-Hanan, son of Akbor, succeeded him as king. When Baal-Hanan, son of Akbor, died, Hadad succeeded him as king. The city was named Pau, and his wife's name was Mehetabel, daughter of Matred, the daughter of Me-Zahab. These were the chiefs, the descendants of Esau by name, according to their clans and regions: Timnah, Alva, Jetheth, Oholibamah, Elah, Pinon, Kenaz, Timam, Mibzar, Magdiel, and Iram. These were the chiefs of Edom, according to their settlements in the land they occupied. This is the family line of Esau, the father of the Edomites. Okay, so now, what do we get out of that? There's just a couple things that I would point out. So one of the things is we're going to go more deep into the lineage, obviously, of Jacob or Israel, because we're going to deal with the 12 sons. And by the time the next book starts, which is Exodus, not the next book for us, but the next book chronologically in the Bible, by that time, the 12 sons have turned into 12 tribes. Well, in the meantime, the sons of Esau have also turned into a people. They've turned into the Edomites. The Edomites who will fight the Israelites as the Israelites come into Canaan, as they come back to the promised land in the time of Moses, especially in the time of Joshua. They will be opposed by the Edomites, their relatives, though by this point, shirt-tail relatives, because we're now hundreds of years later. And the 12 boys have turned into more than 100,000 people. And so this is what's going on in the meantime, is Esau's line is going on here. Now, a couple of things that are interesting is, one is we have almost no biographical information about these people other than occasionally who the mother was, who succeeded them as king, maybe what city they lived in, possibly a wife's name. That's basically all we've got, except for somebody who discovered the hot springs. I think it was interesting that we just get this one little thing. Oh, and by the way, that's the person who discovered the hot springs. Or, while he was grazing his camels. This is the Anah that you've heard of, the one that discovered the hot springs. I'm sure you were wondering, is that the same Anah who was the one who discovered the hot springs? Yes, it is. Apparently, they were fairly well-known hot springs, so there's just occasional things in here why even the people who this is written to might know these people. And by and large, as the writers of Genesis are recording this, obviously much later in time than contemporaneously, because you have to wait until all these generations have happened till you can record this. Even by that time, the two brothers, Israel and Edom, have gone such different ways, and there have been so many generations that most of these names wouldn't even be familiar to the Israelites. These are very distant relatives by this point. So that's one of the things that I noticed in this. The other thing that I think is probably sets up more of the conflict that will happen in the book of Exodus is when you get towards the end of this lineage, these people who have intermarried with the Canaanites, and remember that's part of the problem that Esau had with his parents, is they didn't like his choice of wife, that he was intermarrying with the people of the land and they'd been told not to. But later on, we start to get some names that are Baal-Hanan, for instance, names that include the Canaanite god Baal in the name. And I'm going to assume that that is not coincidental, that there is something about that name that is corresponding to the Canaanite gods. And so we know that we talked about that Jacob or Israel, at first, the God to him was the God of his father or the God of his grandfather. And it doesn't happen until he gets to Bethel that he becomes the God of Jacob and Isaac and Abraham. Well, Esau doesn't have that experience, and we don't know what his faith was, but it looks like, and it's consistent with what we see in Exodus and Judges, that the Edomites go the way of the Canaanites and start worshiping the Baal. Again, the Baal worshipped in part with child sacrifice, and so very abhorrent to God and abhorrent to the Israelites as well. Again, but that's going to happen in a later book. But we get this little glimpse of it, little tiny glimpse of it here in one or two of the names here in Esau's line. And I did not get to Joseph, but we'll get to him next week, and he's going to have a dream. But you'll have to come back for that. But for now, that's it for the Bible Study Podcast. If you have any questions, send an email to host@thebiblestudypodcast.com, or better yet, leave a comment on this episode at thebiblestudypodcast.com. And thanks so much for listening.
Hey, I'm Jeff King, the president of Persecution.org and the host of Faith Under Fire, where we examine threats to the faith and the transformative spiritual lessons of the persecuted church. If you're a deep Christian looking for life-changing content or just trying to make sense of political attacks on the faith, come listen to Faith Under Fire.